Hello friends and welcome back to the Rayo Moon Oracle. I'm Rayo and today we are continuing our Tarot Discovery series. Card number 17, the Star. So after the last card, the Tower, right? Lots of destruction, lots of big changes, lots of big transformations happens with the Tower card. Following the Fool through their journey, right? You have that destruction process of everything you kind of thought you knew, thought that was relevant in your life, thought that was like who you were deep down. All these things. That Tower moment comes in and destroys everything back kind of to the foundation, or even destroys the foundation depending on how deep the fractures and these false pretenses run in our lives. So our poor fool going through this journey, going through this process, right? Having gone through all these different life challenges, comes through that Tower moment, and at the other end is the Star. And the Star is kind of that light in the darkness, right? That little glimmer of hope, that little glimmer of something more, that faith and hope for a new and brighter future that after that process of destruction into that rebuild. So today for our video, I've got 3 cards from various tarot decks that I pulled for the Star. Beautiful imagery for the Star card. It's just my favorite. It's kind of my aesthetic, is like the stars and moons and that kind of feeling. So I'm really happy for the Star card and getting into it today. But we're going to go over our keywords, some other meanings, the astrology and the numerology kind of behind the Star card. Then we're going to get into some specific elements, those other cards that I have for us, and then we'll do some reversals at that point. So our keywords for the Star card: faith, light, hope, inspiration, insight, spirituality. We've got trust, clarity, and belief, optimism, realignments, creation, creating, purpose, renewal, magic, rejuvenation, calm, healing, and that last little bit I included was like making a wish. So numerology wise, the Star card is adds up to 8, so we got that 1 and 7 added together. So we get that abundance coming back in, that infinity with the number 8. If you turn 8 sideways, it's that infinity symbol, right? So the Star has 8 points on it usually, depending on how it's depicted. So you get that kind of symbology and numerology coming in with the card as well. And then we get more of that like harmony and kind of celestial order coming back in with the numerology of the Star card. In terms of astrology specifically, right, that was numerology. In terms of astrology specifically, it's associated with Aquarius, and that is our water bearer. We see in the original Rider-Waite imagery, that water bearer imagery there, with one cup from the water and the other cup kind of being poured onto the land. So that duality there coming in, and that water bearer is Aquarius as well. So the Aquarius has that element of handling water, but it is actually an air element. So we get more of that strong water association that ties to the emotion, but it being an air card specifically, that ties to the mental and the mind as well. So water imagery is very prevalent in this card, so that's that connection to spirit and emotions and our true self. And then obviously there's going to be a star in the Star card at some capacity, so that light shining, that guiding light, guiding us in the middle of the night. We've used stars historically for terms of navigation on the ocean, on land, using that pole star, that North Star. So that is that connection to the higher, that higher spiritual realm, using that divinity coming through. So other meanings for the Star card, we've got replenishment. So again, after that, all that destruction of the Tower, right, we get replenishments, we get hope after disaster, things getting better. We have new possibilities, right, because the Tower took down everything that wasn't relevant in our lives, things. So we have all this new open space to start creating and bringing in new things. So open possibilities, dreams. We've got lots of feeling and outpouring of feeling, because we get that realignment with our true self and true purpose through the Star card. So we reconcile all of the choices we made, all of our wants. It's like actually like a full like wish coming true potentially. So everything that you want, even if they seem opposing options or opposing choices, they can be reconciled, and you can have all of it at once. So with that, we have peace of mind, we have wish fulfillment, comfort, being blessed by the universe, lots of personal growth, renewal of strength for life. Again, finding that purpose, finding that passion for life. So we get that light at the end of the tunnel, and knowing that the best is yet to come, especially after the destruction of the tower. So going into our 3 cards I pulled for us today, we come back into the Wildwood Tarot with the Pole Star. I liked this one specifically because I felt like it really showed that navigation aspect, kind of that historical purpose of stars that we'd use them for, and then so that kind of guiding light, right? So we see our figure walking through the forest here, following that one bright star and all the other ones kind of circling around it. So we get that divinity aspect coming through. We get that finding kind of that light in the forest, finding that light in the dark, and following it to open spaces, open possibilities, new things in our lives. So very interesting energy there. The forest in itself has a lot of symbology and meaning behind it, but depending on how you're viewing it in a specific context, it can be kind of scary and dark and fearful, or it can be supportive depending. In this case, the star is more of our supporting, our guiding element, right? And the forest is that more of lost feeling potentially, or trying to find our way through the dark, find our way through the trees in the forest to get through to the other side potentially. So I liked the pole star specifically. I like it being called the pole star in this case for this card specifically from this tarot deck, because it does have that representation of guidance and navigation and finding your way, really finding your way after being lost for a long time. So that is a really cool element there, and that's why I really liked the Wildwood Tarot and pulled it for this video specifically. The next one I have for us is from the Wild Unknown. So again, Wild Unknown, very simple imagery, right? Very simple, kind of down to the core. I liked this one because it's just a star, right? A star hanging out in the sky, but that star has so much encompassing in it through the color imagery, right? So you see the entire rainbow in the card, so that's representing all of our different feelings and emotions, and positive and negative, and everything all encompassing in that kind of rainbow coloring of the star card, specifically in the star. So it shows the ability for new things to happen, or anything being possible, right? So it's really cool because it's surrounded by other stars, but it's representing kind of the, like, everybody has their own star in this case. It's kind of what it feels like, where it's like, okay, hey, I'm that star over there, you're this star here. So when this card comes out specifically, it's like, okay, this is you, this is your life, this is what's going on with you and your purpose and your passion, and finding your way forward, what your wish fulfillments are, what you're hoping for your life, and everything being all encompassed in that. So very simple card again, but very beautiful imagery at the same time, and really just, it feels like, hey, that's that wishing on a star, hoping for new things and better things to come, and seeing that it is all possible because of all those different colors encompassed in the star card. So now our last card for our 3 tarot cards today comes from the Light Seer's Tarot. This one was, I couldn't not include. This one is like literally feels like my entire aesthetic sometimes wrapped up all together. Lots of purples and blues, very highly spiritual colors, right? So tied into our third eye, into our crown chakra with those purples and blue coloring. And then we see the star on like a kind of a leash here, like being looped and getting pulled down to earth, accomplishing those things that we want, right? Getting our wishes granted through the star card, right? So it's a very simple imagery with, it's like, okay, there's this little string attached to a star up there that the figure is holding. And again, lots of deep purple, kind of pink. So that pink ties back into the heart chakra, that purple tying into the crown chakra, and those two connected, right? Or it's like, okay, connected here and connected up here. The higher spiritual purpose connected with our purpose inside in our heart, and pulled down into more physical reality in this case, right? You can't like really rope a star and bring it down to earth, but this is about the closest you can get in that connection to the star energy, and that wish granting and wish fulfillment and magic and hope for new things, hope and faith. So I think it really ties into that hope aspect, especially as well, because of the connection that the figure has to the star. Where it's like, okay, you're just holding, and she's not holding it super tightly, right? She's not like gripping it with all her strength. It's there in her hand. She's kind of holding it to her heart, and it feels very relaxed and calm and peaceful at the same time, where it's like, okay, hey, you know, everything's going to be okay. We don't know what this figure has gone through. We can assume it's gone through they've gone through their own tower moment because of this card beforehand. But it's like, okay, hey, no, this isn't, everything's going to be okay. And then feeling that energy kind of comes out of this card. So this was probably the one I liked the best out of all the star cards when I was picking. And makes me very happy because of just all the pretty colors. It's something I'd like to see like in a painting or something, have it as an art piece on my wall. So that is our 3 star cards that I pulled for us today from my various tarot decks. Now let us get into reversals. So if our upright star card is that faith and belief in new things and magic and hope for better, right? We get into reversals with a lack of faith, giving into despair, giving up. We have that lost faith, but crushed dreams, lots of insecurities, exhaustion, confusion, feeling lost in many, many ways, potentially. So the star card also in reverse, though, depending on the spread and what's coming out around it, can show that there is a process to try and reestablish that star energy and figure out how to have that belief and faith again in maybe yourself or in a situation in the universe and a higher power, right? So you start the process, maybe you don't believe off the bat, but you believe that there is belief. If that makes sense. It's okay. So it's like, okay, I don't believe in God. I'm using this example. I don't believe in God specifically, but I believe that people believe in God. So that kind of opens a doorway potentially, right? And it's like, okay, you recognize a possibility of something being there, even if you yourself do not believe it yet. So, this is kind of that first process, right? With a reverse star card where you feel really disconnected from self, disconnected from the universe, disconnected from a higher power. So with the star card coming out in reverse, it could be a test of faith potentially, getting our faith back into the situation, into ourselves, into that higher power. So with the star card coming out in reverse, we have that feeling of being uninspired. So there's a lot of need for like self-care and finding self again. With the star coming out in reverse, that's kind of the advice that comes from where it's like, okay, hey, really try and take care of yourself, right? If you're depressed and anxious and dealing with a lot of things in your life, dealing with grief or other things that happen to us in this lifetime, really try and take care of yourself. Find a way to take care of yourself. Find a way to get back to a more normal place potentially for whatever normal is for you. So other feelings for the star card in reverse, feeling defeated or drained of our passion for life. So that's where that self-care comes in again, where it's like, okay, let's find those things that we love to do again. Let's try and find that life and vitality in those things that we were passionate about before. Because otherwise we're just going to keep feeling hopeless. And that last kind of bit for the star card that I've written down here is the perception, right? So we perceive the world as hopeless, or we perceive the world as lacking passion and faith, but this is all internal at the same time, right? So there is a process to figure out what's actually going on in ourselves and take care of ourselves, because again, all those possibilities exist. It's not what's actually happening, it's just how we're perceiving things. So really taking control of ourselves and our reality and our mind and our mental states, and taking care of ourselves so we can perceive the world differently. And that's what comes out with the star card and that star energy here. So star card is very, very interesting. We're kind of getting into these last bits of pieces with our Tarot Discovery series here. We've got the moon and the sun coming up, and then Judgment in the World. We're almost done with the entire Major Arcana here, and these last kind of big energies and this big perception and big global realization and enlightenment kind of coming through with the end of the Major Arcana here. So the star's kind of that piece of it that I think the Tower is really kind of that start of it, where it's like, okay, here's all that material, here's all of that, those things that you thought were important being destroyed and taken down, and then the rest of the Major Arcana comes out with all these big celestial, higher power, higher good energies to really show us what life is, what our life purpose is, how to have passion and how to live. So it'll be interesting here to finish up with our Major Arcana and finish up with this first section of these Tarot Discovery series. So that is all I have for us today, friends. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.